How your online course can be better than Disneyland. It's a small world wide web after all. It's a small world wide web after all. It's a small world wide web after all. It's a small world wide web. Hello and welcome to episode number 53 of the Subscribe Me show from subscribeme.fm. This is the podcast to listen to for learning about how to create membership sites and online courses, making, marketing, and monetizing digital content, the world of WordPress, and tools, techniques, and tips that you can use to create a long-term, profitable online business. I'm Ravi Jayagopal. I'm the creator of coolcastplayer.com, fondly known as PPPP, aka Prettiest Podcast Player on the Planet. Yes, you can search Google for those words and you will see which website you find. And you can call me Mr. Word Maker Upper once again because I have come up with a new word yet again. So, for this podcast, in between regular episodes, I've decided to do some quick short ones, 2 to 5 minutes or so, with maybe one or two quick and important points or messages or some current events covering technology or WordPress or something like that, some security tips, tools and other techniques and stuff. And I would love to cut to the chase, which is, again, my other podcast, which I'm actually thinking of rolling into this one. And so I want to do the short episodes and give you like super concentrated value with none of the extras. And I've come up with a name for it. Expressodes. What do you think? Express episodes combined into one word. Expressodes. Tim Ferriss calls these in-between-episodes, but I think that name sucks, honestly. And I think expressodes or expressodes, let's stick with expressodes, is much better than in-between-episodes. So which obviously must mean that my show is better than Tim Ferriss's show, right? All right. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about how your online course can be better than Disneyland. And in fact, you can apply the same thing not just to online courses, but also to your business and your products and services. So let me quickly set up the backstory for this. So literally a week ago, along with my family, I visited Disney California Adventure, which is not the same as Disneyland, mind you. California Adventure is actually a second theme park that Disney opened in 2001, and it's like right across the street, so to speak, from the original California Disneyland. So Disney California Adventure is more geared towards like teenagers and older, I guess, because the rides are completely different. There are no toddler and baby rides. Those are all in Disneyland. And there's actually the world's, I think it's like the 7th or 8th longest roller coaster ride. It's called California Screamin'. And it's not really the scariest one I've ever been, but it is pretty long and it's pretty creative. And it's the best mix of scariness and fun that I've ever seen in a roller coaster. And it was so much fun. My kids and I rode on it twice during this recent visit. And just a few months before that, in December 2016, during the holiday break, my family and I went to Universal Studios. Now, I live in San Diego, which is like an hour and a half from Anaheim, which is where Disneyland and California Adventure are. And San Diego is about a 3-hour drive from Universal Studios in Los Angeles. And we hadn't gone to Universal in quite a few years, so that's how we ended up revisiting Universal back in December. And Universal has something called front of line access. And this is about you have to pay about $100 more on top of a regular ticket, which by itself costs like $100, $125. So when you pay an extra $100 for the front of line access, you basically get to go to the front of the line for every single ride, regardless of how long the actual line is. And even if you go on a weekday, let alone going during a major holiday or a long weekend, the lines are absolutely crushingly long. They're not as big as Disney, but still pretty long lines. Probably like a 1 to 2 hour wait for each ride. And because we paid extra for front of line access, we were able to get to the front of the line for every single ride, thus saving us at least 1 hour per ride. So paying $400 extra for 4 front-of-line passes was totally worth it, considering we saved about 4 to 6 hours of, standing in line in total. Now, that's a win-win if you ask me. Universal wins because it gets to squeeze out an extra $100 per ticket for the front-of-line access. And it was a win for us because we saved so much time, so much energy, and that made it more enjoyable. We were not as tired. We were able to enjoy all the rides better. And we actually could get to more rides, and it only enhanced the experience. However, when it comes to Disney, I don't know why, but they do not sell such a front-of-line access. Now, they do have a convoluted, confusing version of that called Fast Pass. Now, the Fast Pass is free. There's no extra charge for it. But you have to actually go to each ride, and then there's a separate mini line on the side to get your Fast Pass tickets for that ride. So you go to the ride, then go and stand a separate counter, like automated machines that'll give you a Fast Pass ticket for that ride. And when you get that Fast Pass ticket, it'll show you that you have to come back during a time slot later that day, usually like 2 to 3 hours after you got the pass. So you can't go to that ride right away. You have to come back a few hours later. And then, because it's free, right? Everybody got it. It's not like Universal where there's a premium charge. It's like people paying for IMAX versus regular movies. If you go to IMAX movies, unless it's like an Avatar movie, you're not going to find too many people there because it costs more, which means fewer people are going to pay the extra bucks for that. So Universal, you have that advantage because of that extra fee. You won't have too many people in that front of line access. But with Disney, you still have to stand in line with all of the other Fast Pass folks because everybody got it because it was free, right? And that could still mean a wait of about half an hour to an hour, depending on how crowded it is that day. Okay, so now you're thinking, and that's how everybody starts to think, right? So what's the big deal? You go to all the rides one by one and get a Fast Pass for each one, and everyone has a different timing saying come back at this time. And you come back at that time and you skip, like you save like hour and a half, right? By using the Fast Pass, and you still have to wait a little bit, but that's okay, right? No, that's not how it works. You only get one Fast Pass token every 2 hours. So once you get the Fast Pass for one ride, to get the next Fast Pass for another ride, you have to wait for at least 2 hours. It won't, even if you go and stand in line and try to get a new one, it'll say, sorry, you're not eligible for this until 2:45 p.m. So which means in those 2 hours, what else are you going to do? You have to go to another ride. No, there's no Fast Pass. You stand in line with probably wait for hour and a half. Then by the time you come out, you're still not eligible to get another Fast Pass for another ride because the 2 hours are not up yet. So then you mope around a little bit. You can't really go to any ride because what are you going to do in 15-20 minutes? So maybe you get a snack or something. Maybe that's the whole idea. Maybe they want you to buy food and drinks. And then you go back to the first ride for which you got a Fast Pass. By the time you come out, it's the same thing all over again. You get another You have to get another Fast Pass for another ride, which you can only redeem. It takes a few hours from that point. So the whole thing absolutely sucks, right? So we ended up not going to as many rides as we would have. In spite of us going on a weekday, we made our son take his day off. My daughter had her spring break, and my son was still in school. So his school had spring break at a different time. And so we made him take a day off. And even then, even on a weekday, it was crazy, crazy, crazy crowded. So if Disney had sold us something similar to Universal's front of line access, it would have been so much better. So why am I telling you all this? Be like Universal Studios and not like Disney when it comes to your business. There will always be people who don't mind paying more in order to get more, like faster service, more access to you, premium access to you, front of line access to your products and services, so to speak. We faced this same dilemma with DAP many years ago. Now, you may not know this, or you may, but there was a period of about 3 to 4 years when DAP had really stiff competition from a lot of free membership plugins. Yes, free. They were actually giving away WordPress plugins, membership plugins for free. Now here we were charging like $167 for a one-site license of DApp, and that's the same price even today. And there were people telling us that, why the heck would they pay $167 when they could pay $0 for a free membership plugin? And with those free plugins, they could basically install the plugin on any number of their websites, which means they don't pay a penny for any or for even using that membership plugin on 10 websites. But with DApp, if you purchased an unlimited site license, you pay $297. But guess what? Quote unquote free has a cost associated with it. Like the famous cliche goes, there is no such thing as a free lunch. There's always a different kind of cost added to it. It may not be directly, there may not be a direct price, but there'll always be an indirect cost, especially when it comes to a membership plugin like DApp. As a plugin developer, there is so much support and development involved with a WordPress plugin. You have to constantly keep your software updated because of everything else that keeps changing, like new WordPress releases, changes to PayPal's APIs, or Stripe APIs, or hosting software changes and database version changes, other plugins and themes that can cause conflicts, and on and on. Right? Now imagine having to not only create a massive piece of software like a membership plugin that is basically like the foundation of your website, because it's not just protecting content, but it's also processing payments. It's allowing you to do upsells and downsells, recruit affiliates, and pay affiliate commissions, send out autoresponder and broadcast emails, and so many other features that you need from your membership plugin. Not all of them offer that. So now imagine creating this humongous piece of software and then having to keep it updated and support everything that's changing it out there on the World Wide Web. And then you also have to support hundreds or thousands of plugin users, right? Because if you want it to be popular, you want more users, and more users means more support for you. And then imagine having to do all of this for free. That's just crazy. That's not a good business model, not for WordPress plugins. So guess what? Most of those free plugins are gone without a trace because they couldn't afford to do all of that for free. Now, even if you charge for support or if you charge for add-ons, like some of the plugins said, if you want an authorized.NET module, or if you want, the basic free version comes with PayPal, but if you want Stripe, you have to add on. Even if you add on, charge a little bit for add-ons, you already shot yourself in the foot by making the core product free. At least I'm talking mainly from a WordPress plugin perspective. And with software, there really aren't, as many big monetization opportunities like how Facebook and Google and YouTube and Gmail, they're all essentially free, right? But they have solid revenue opportunities with advertising. And remember, if the product is free, then you are usually the product. And that doesn't translate so well to the software industry, more so to the WordPress plugins industry. So we were able to weather the storm of competitors offering free plugins. And here we are in 2017, humming along just fine, with DApp growing more and more each day, and most of our free competitors are gone. So right around that time, right, a few years ago, we were really hesitant to introduce new tiers for DApp. For the longest time, we just had the one-site and multi-site licenses. And then we introduced something called Membership Site in a Box, or MSIAB, where we offered DApp and a couple of other plugins along with a 3-hour setup service. We were initially apprehensive about, who's going to buy this $500 package when there are free plugins out there. But guess what? People do realize pretty quickly that free is not always free. There is a cost attached to it. So MSIAB, our Membership Site in a Box, was a huge success because people didn't mind paying for one-on-one consultation and brainstorming, that too from myself or Veena Prashant, who is the other co-founder and co-developer of DApp. You get it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and help with setup and some training on how to use DApp, and they could cut short the learning curve and implement everything faster and get to the launch process faster. Then we introduced something called Membership Site in a Box Pro, and we charged double that of MSIAB. So we charged $1,000 for MSIAB Pro. We had people sign up for that too. Then a few years ago, we said, okay, let's try something else. We removed MSIAB Pro, and in its place, we introduced a new Platinum monthly membership, which is $40 a month. right? So think about the evolution from having to compete with free plugins to now charging $40 a month for the membership software itself. So finally, we were at the point of, charging a monthly fee using DApp itself. So we were using our own product to charge a monthly fee for our own product, kind of meta, right? But we realized we had to package it in such a way that, paying $40 a month or $400 a year, when, including a couple of months bonuses, a couple of months for free if you paid yearly, that had to become a no-brainer decision. So we said, you know what, we'll give you every single plugin we have ever developed and every single plugin we will ever develop. And we'll add another 2 hours of consultation. But wait, there's more. I had to throw that in there. So we also added a 1 hour per month free troubleshooting package where if you had like any WordPress issues, conflicts with DApp and stuff, we would log into your website and troubleshoot it and fix it, right? That 1 hour itself is valued at like $100. So once we added all that, $40 a month suddenly started looking like a total bargain. And that has become, the Platinum membership has become our number one selling product right now. And over the years, many people who signed up for our one-off licenses have also converted over to a monthly subscription because they get so many additional benefits with it. All the plugins, one-on-one calls for free, monthly troubleshooting. So back then, if we had simply thought to ourselves, who the heck is going to pay for all this stuff, right? Who's going to pay $167 or $297 or $497 or $997 or $400 a year for a membership plugin when there are so many free plugins out there, right? If you had thought like that, we would have basically had to shut our doors and we wouldn't be in business today. So we give our customers, so you have to give people and customers a lot more credit for this because people are really willing to pay more as long as they get a really good deal and they get a lot more value from the deal than what they're paying for it. So it's all in the offer, how you package it, how you position it, and how you present it. Of course, it's also in how you deliver it because you have to deliver on the promises. You have to keep delivering month after month if you want them to keep paying you month after month. So don't be afraid to create bigger, more expensive packages, more premium packages that give people faster service, better access, direct access to you or your team, better training, one-on-one calls with you or your team, weekend support, faster setup, more hand-holding, right? And all this, and pretty much anything that will help them implement your products and services faster, with less headache, and with a shorter learning curve. And they get better support and faster support, and they can get to the end goal faster. So don't forget to create more front-of-line access offers like Universal. Don't be like Disney, be like Universal Studios. Now, don't tell me that Disney is somehow doing this out of the goodness of their heart, right? Like somehow they've suddenly turned against making more money or suddenly have this anti-capitalistic urge to make the playing field even for everybody, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not even remotely true. Don't forget, everything Disney does is with an eye towards monetization, right? Their movies turn into toys and t-shirts and merchandising and video games, and that becomes theme park rides and DVDs and online movies and online downloads and games and TV shows and their TV channel. So nobody monetizes end to end like Disney. And given how incredible the Disney marketing machine is, I'm sure that it's not like, nobody has thought about this before. I'm pretty sure they must have had it at some point and then removed this fast pass, this front of line access after figuring out that maybe, there were better ways to monetize it. I don't know. I'm sure they track everything. And this is probably one of the things that they tracked, and they figured it was better for them to not have it. So, for example, the time between the rides, right? When you can't get the next fast pass and you don't want to stand in line for 2 hours for a ride, kind of forces you to go and spend more money buying a churro from a food cart or, buying expensive water bottles or walking into an expensive restaurant. So yeah, I'm sure they have the reasons, but whatever those may be, it probably works for them but you're not Disney, right? And even if it does work for them, the outcome just sucks for most people like me. Especially if if you have to travel, if you have to catch a flight to go there and you spend a lot of money getting there, and then you go in and you can't get in on half the rides because most people can get out only when their kids have the day, they have a holiday, which means most other kids also have some sort of a holiday, which means you're going to get crushed there with the lines. So make sure you're not making the same mistakes and failing to take advantage of customers who actually want to throw more money at you so that they can get more from whatever it is that you're selling. Treating everyone the same, we're going to be fair to everybody. We don't want people with more money to have to cut through the line in front of people who don't have that much money, right? When it comes to capitalism, when it comes to business, people will pay to be pampered. That's what leads to a bigger bottom line and more profits for you. And also, you get the happiest, easy to please, and lowest overhead customers who will happily pay extra to get extra. And they will also be the ones to praise you and recommend you the most. So if you're interested in signing up for DAP, then when you join our Platinum membership, you get access to an unlimited site license of DAP. You get 2 hours of concierge calls with me or Veena, and you get to talk to either one of us one-on-one for 2 hours, where we'll brainstorm with you about how you want to set it up, your membership site, an online course, and we'll also actually help you set it up. And then you get a whole bunch of plugins like my Coolcast Player and S3 Media Vault for free. So simply use the coupon code SUBSCRIBEME during checkout and get your first month for free, which is a $40 value, simply because you are a listener of this podcast. So again, the coupon code is SUBSCRIBEME, all capitals, all one word, and save $40 and get your first month free at digitalaccesspass.com. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the show so that you can get each episode within a few hours after it is published, and in some cases, just a few minutes. Search for the word Subscribe Me, all one word, in your favorite podcast app, whether it is the iTunes app or Overcast, which is, by the way, my favorite podcast app, or Google Play or Android-based podcast app. Just go to subscribeme.fm, and on the homepage, you'll see a whole bunch of ways to subscribe to the show, and you can even send me an email from that page. So do you have questions, comments, suggestions, stuff I should have said better, stuff I should add to this podcast, remove from this podcast, any feedback at all? Email me at Ravi, R-A-V as in Victor I, at subscribeme.fm. So that's Ravi at subscribeme.fm. Let me know what you think. Until the next time, ta-ta, and talk to you soon.